Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon. Today is Friday, November 2nd. Just want to check in with you guys. I got a bunch of questions today on my Facebook page, and I thought they were worth answering. Um, got a few things to share with you. Kind of, first of all, if you know, one of the things I've talked about throughout the journey is, again, the whole message of the journey is to point the thumb at ourselves and not the finger. And we kind of seem, especially when it comes to politics, wanting to blame and point the finger at past administrations, current administrations, whatever you've got. Well, guys, here's your opportunity to stop pointing the finger and do something about it. We have our midterms coming up in a couple of days, so if you care, instead of ranting and raving about what you find is wrong with the country, if that's your belief, then go out and do something about it and vote in the midterm and get your party's nominee that you want in there, and then we could take the next step when the full election comes around. So just a reminder to you all that we have the midterms coming up here on Tuesday. One thing, I saw something funny today. Maybe it's not funny. It's not funny at all. But I love people that some of the comments you get on the internet. Apparently, there's a pilot for Japan Airlines that was 10 times over the legal limit of alcohol. He was a co-pilot on a flight from London to Japan when he got uncovered or discovered or found out. And but one of the comments, that's not the funny part. The funny part was the comment the guy wrote behind it. Goes, "I never fly unless I'm 10 times over the limit also." So I know there's a lot of people that have a problem flying. But anyway, so today's a neat day. I'm excited about something. Tomorrow I'm going to be meeting some Journey friends. My family's going to meet them. They live relatively local, and never knew them before the journey. And it's just great to go ahead and meet people, share stories, learn about them. As I said, the journey is going to continue on, even though I'm not walking across the country anymore. But I hope to meet everybody that's been supportive, and there's been a lot of people that have supported me through the website and the Facebook page and so forth that I'd never met before. And tomorrow, I'm starting to feel a little bit better today, and the family's going to get together. So I'm excited about that. So that's pretty neat. Also, as I had promised, one of the things on this journey that I realized I failed miserably as a dad previously was I felt I was doing the right thing by not exposing my kids to any particular religion. Let them find their own way, and I realized that I did them a disservice. I need to expose them to it and then let them choose to pursue or not pursue. So, as I talked about in the journey, Sunday we're going to be going to church as a family for the first time, and that's kind of exciting as well. So, that's neat. I'm looking forward to sharing that. And I do stay in touch with the folks and the friends I've made along the way. And I was reaching out to a couple that I met in Phoenix, and it was just checking in, seeing how they were doing. And just in passing the comments, sometimes we don't even realize like the other plight that people have lived. Like I sometimes look back and think of the life my mom led, and I can go on for hours about her upbringing and the things she had to endure, um, and but we all want to give our kids, and every parent wants to give their children and their children's children a better life, a better opportunity. And so for example, speaking to them, and they were saying how Bob has his 50th high school reunion, but one of the things he's concerned about, and I'm not sure if he's kind of mentally preparing himself, is how many of his high school classmates, obviously they weren't the dearest of friends, otherwise they may still be in touch, but how many didn't make it back from Vietnam. And again, that's something that me and my kids never have to even consider something like that. It's how, I mean, then you put yourself in a situation of having served, and imagine just trying to go to a function like that, and you have to concern yourself a little bit with preparing yourself mentally to finding out how many people are lost in a war. It's just one of those things that you never think about in your everyday normal life, I guess. And so that was something interesting, and that triggered me to think about something. When I was maybe it was this week, it might have been my last day in California, I saw a documentary on the Vietnam Memorial, which to me is the most impressive um, memorial to anything that we have. To those of you who've never been to D.C. and been to the Vietnam War Memorial, I always tell people to go, and it's amazing how powerful it is, and it's almost simplistic in its nature. What I didn't know and found out was that when they put out the bids of the competition for plans, it was a 21-year-old Yale student that submitted the plans. And going off of that, one of the other things I thought that was so amazing was in the video, they talked to a lot of people that when it came out, like everything else, so many people want to hate or dislike before giving something a chance. And they had these Vietnam vets that were so anti this particular design of the wall. They felt that a couple of things. They felt that it didn't give, I remember one gentleman saying it didn't give, it's starting to rain out here too on my back deck. It celebrated the dead, but not the people, the living that survived, but still served just as admirably. And then another gentleman had, I forgot what his beef was, but in listening to them talk, it was amazing how when it opened, you know, they went, or one gentleman said it took him like 6 years to get there, but once he went there, he goes routinely now. It was just an amazing thing. And another thing that came up with that too, and on the journey I met the folks from Honor Flight, and one of the things that, and I might be wrong with my facts here, but Senator Bob Dole, who served our country and was a presidential candidate, is in his wheelchair, and I believe he served, and he sits there and greets gentlemen from, I want to say the Korean War, could be the Korean, could be World War II, but he goes there and he sits out there in his wheelchair and shakes their hand, and I don't think it's every day, but I mean, again, imagine, you know, these folks that are going there to see this memorial for them, and you know, to see Senator Dole there, and it's just so, if you get a chance, you have to share these things with your family and kind of drink them in, because it's just so empowering and moving. It really is. So that's a little bit of some observations from today and some things that just kind of triggered with me. One of the things, if this rain holds out, my daughter does horse lessons. She's been doing for maybe a year and a half now. And one of my biggest disappointments of the journey was just the day I finished was a Friday, and she, for the first time, jumped on a horse over a gate or an obstacle, and she was so excited to tell me, and I felt so bad that I wasn't there to you know, witness it and see it and share it with her. But in her typical fashion, when I was disappointed, she so matter of fact, she said, "It's okay, Daddy, you're going to see me do it again." And so today I'm looking forward to it, but the rain may rain it out, I'm not sure, so that'll be kind of a neat thing today. But one of the other questions I also got was, you know, what's life been like for me since I've been back? And, you know, it's a fair question. So I'll be honest with you, I probably have underestimated the getting back in the swing of things. I'm coming around from this little cold I had, so my asthma's calming down today finally. But just getting back into a groove, spending time with your children, getting back in a routine of cooking breakfast, getting them to school, you know, cooking dinner, picking them up, whatever it might be. Calling people, staying in touch with folks, making plans for the business, getting the book done, reaching out to folks, getting my bills and the creditors in line, and trying to find you know, a job and some income right now to get that caught up, so at least I can start to get some stability while the other things are happening. We've got a lot of ideas and a lot of plans. I called them a conference call tonight with a few of my business partners to talk about, bounce some ideas off each other and talk about, you know, the next step and how we're going to get there. But I definitely did underestimate how quickly or how much you get pulled in different directions for different things. So my shirt's all wrinkled. I feel like the wrinkle guy in a television commercial. So anyway, so that was one of the questions I got asked. There was another one I was asked this morning too, and I forgot what it was. I got one half jokingly. To those of you that are sports fans, and I don't know if you are or not, I grew up a diehard Oakland Raider fan, and to watch their performance last night was, I mean, beyond embarrassing. It was a debacle. if you're a sports fan, what's happened to their franchise is just sad. They weren't even competitive, but anyway. So stay in touch, guys. So to give you guys an update, I did go and just get a job. I will start. Unfortunately, my first paycheck won't come till like November 23rd, so I've got to tread water until then. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that, but we'll find a way. And it's not the ideal job I'm looking for by any means, but again, I knew this was going to be part of the process. This isn't about me whining and complaining. I'll still, continue to drive the business and the foundation and drive that. In the meantime, I'm still going to take care of the family and get the bills and everything done that needs to be done. As far as all that goes. But this was part of the process. I knew when I left and I resigned my position that I wouldn't have a job when I got back, and that was part of the understanding. It's not a shock. But this is all, again, part of the process, and that's what I guess people were asking about. Like, what are you doing for work? How are you paying bills now? Now that you're back home, and we're gonna tread and survive. It's what Jim does. But we're not gonna stop spreading the message of pointing the thumb. So get out there and vote for your midterms. All right, keep pointing the thumb. Keep asking questions, guys. Please share your positive stories. Root for our high school football teams and your local high school football team. Feel bad for the Oakland Raiders if you have any decency with football for anybody or sports. And again, take a breath to look around what other people endure in life and things that they have to come up with. You got people that, if you're healthy, appreciate your health today. Don't take it for granted. There are people out there right now that are walking around with an oxygen tank, or they're on a transplant list, or they're waiting for their test results to see if their cancer's clear or has come back. There's little things like that. Like I said, when I was talking to Sue about Bob's reunion and him being concerned about how many people may not be there that he knew at one point. So I've never, that's something I've never ever had to even cross my mind. If I go to a reunion, I don't have to worry about how many people got lost in this war kind of thing. So definitely a different way of changing. But all it does is give you different appreciation and respect for again, our fellow man. So if you get a chance, reach out to somebody. As I said, I give an example of, was it yesterday? Maybe it was yesterday, when I reached out and helped these folks that I wouldn't have maliciously ignored them or avoided them. I think I just would have been so caught up in my own life. And that's what I'm asking you guys to do, is to kind of, if you can, take your blinders off a little bit. Take your blinders off and take in the periphery around you, not just, what's right ahead of you. I was guilty of it. I'm in a little bit better place for that right now. That was the question people asked me, and I'm going to step out because it's raining here on me. I get in and make lunch. But the other question I was asked today was, how has my life changed a little bit, or my routine since I've been back home? And I will say this: there's not a doubt in my mind. Hold on a second while I try to get my lunch that I'm burning, because I'm yakking away in this video for so long. Oh, yeah, I hope I don't burn down. Alrighty, well. So, sorry about that, guys. Anyway, but the one thing I can tell you all is that I have what's the word I'm looking for? Much more of a purpose. Not that I didn't have a purpose before, but it's like every night when I go to sleep, I'm waking up or going to sleep with the next day prepared. I'm setting the alarm early to get into the book and make sure I give the dedicated time to the book. I'm making sure I make the time. I guess the old me would, hey, I got to get up and get the kids breakfast and get them off to school, or pick them up the bus, and I'll kill this half hour, I'll kill that hour, watch an NCIS rerun or something like that while I'm waiting to pick them up, or things like that. I don't have that. I have such a purpose right now, and I guess that's the one thing that's come about from the support of the folks, the journey, and everything else. So I'm going to shut up now, let you guys go. Have a great day. Vote for those midterms, guys. All right, appreciate you, love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.